What up, true believers, and welcome to episode 6 of That 90s Spider-Man Show, the podcast where your childhood nostalgia goes to die. I'm your host today, I'm Henry, and alongside me, he's no king or queen, but he's better than a 10, it's Jack.
That's really good being better than a 10. Yeah. It means I'm always at least 11 out of 10.
Yeah, always, yeah. But you're not quite a king or a queen. And you're no ace, let's be honest.
I mean, I'm fine not being, like, the centre of attention or royalty.
But like, I think like just below royalty. So like if you're in a poker game, like you'd be better than a 10. Like,
yeah, I'm a really well respected character actor.
Yeah, you're Margot Martindale.
Yeah,
or like Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti before he played the Rhino in the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I genuinely don't think he was told that like he wasn't going to be in a cartoon. I think he just thought he was going to be voice acting because he just shows up on the set and he's like, "So where the set? What's the set? This is a movie, Paul."
Well, I think he was the only one who knew that he was in like a cartoon movie, really.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's you're still making a Spider-Man movie. You still got to kind of go hard with it.
He's some crazy ass villains.
Yeah, like you're playing a guy called the Rhino. Just go with it.
Yeah.
God, that mech looked really shit.
It looked like it moved terribly as well.
I feel like they were so embarrassed about the idea of having a guy in a suit who had a rhino horn that they were like, well then let's make it like an actual like Power Rangers like rhino shaped robot, which actually looked way dumber, way less practical. And also made it kind of confusing because you're like, why would they choose that as a design? It's
like there's no point to this design at all. It's just cumbersome and very.
Where did he get that suit? Because he was just a guy. He's just some Russian dude who's like, and his pants get pulled down by Spider-Man. He's like, I hate Spider-Man. And then like, I just remember at the end, he's just like, I'm here and I've got a rhino suit on. Was it just going to be like, he went to Oscorp and they were like, okay, do you want the octopus arms or the rhino suit? And he's like, I'll take the rhino.
Because he's an idiot. Like, why would you pick the rhino suit over the octopus arms? That's the obvious better choice.
Because he wants to run into things.
But you can do that with an octopus arms. You can run things and be like, I'm gonna set myself my giant arms, rather than this impractical rhino suit. There's like a car that works around you.
Yeah, he is basically just a car, right?
Yeah, like a really bad transformer.
The Ultimate Comics version of Rhino was fine because it's just the same as the original one, where it's a guy with armor on, with a horn on his head, but they just made that, rather than that just being like a suit that was bulletproof, they made it like, oh, it's the same, but this guy is like, he's actually like 12 foot tall and he's in a mech sort of thing.
Yeah. With an exposed head.
Yeah, an exposed chin, like an exposed Batman chin.
Yeah. Like
he's got a visor over his face. That makes sense.
It makes more sense, for sure.
Well, yeah, it doesn't make sense. It makes more sense, yeah. So that's fine, it's cool. He runs into the thing and he knocks the wall down. Doesn't need to be a big thing.
It's a human battering ram. That's all you really need, just kind of run into things. Just great velocity and great power. And with great power comes great responsibility. Like, that's the catchphrase of Uncle Ben in this show.
Sorry, there's something funny about calling it a catchphrase. Like, he's a fucking sitcom guy. Like, he says that, oh, Janie, why didn't you do your homework? Oh, because the other girls made fun of me. Oh, well, with great power comes great responsibility. And then the crowd cheers. And then it's like, dun, 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 dun.
It's like a freeze frame after that.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben getting shot in the back, like mid-freeze frame.
Dun, 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 dun.
The credits roll as like his chest explodes from the bullet. No. The funny thing about today's episode, folks, is that we're not even talking about the Rhino. We're talking about the Scorpion.
God, we fucking suck at this.
But yeah, this episode today is episode 6 of That 90s Spider-Man Show, which is all about episode 6 of the 90s animated series called The Sting of the Scorpion, which is, open goal of a name. What else are you going to call this? The Sting of the Scorpion.
Yeah.
This is,
There's not really much to Scorpion.
He's just a guy.
He's just a... I don't know, I feel like Electro gets like a lot of stick for just being kind of a guy who has one power and is an asshole.
At least his power's cool, though.
Yeah, Scorpion kind of... His main thing is being someone who is the first, like, this is Spider-Man, but more sort of thing. Like, he's the natural predator, or stronger version to take him on, so he's just a physical threat though. But we can get into that more once we actually
dive into this.
Yeah.
Let's swing right in, shall we, to the episode of 1990 Spider-Man show. But yeah, so...
Where did we leave it off last week? It was the end of the Mysterio episode.
Where like...
Oh, he's with Mary Jane, isn't he?
Yeah. He's about to, she's like, oh yeah, I'll go out with you, I guess, because you forgot our last date, and I'm forgiving you.
Yeah, and like, it seems like a lot of these episodes seem to alternate between these Felicia Hardy episodes, where he's all about Felicia Hardy, and then Mary Jane episodes, where he's all about Mary Jane. And he seems to be having two different arcs with both of them at the same time.
To be fair, he's a teenager. He's probably just horny as fuck. He's just like...
Yeah. I just find it really weird calling him a teenager, because he just looks like a 30-year-old man.
Yeah. Like, not in the way the movies do, just in, like, we had, like, all the animation in the world, and we went for this design. But yeah, so this is where, like, he's walking with Felicia, like, just down the street. So last time when she got kidnapped by Dr. Octopus, I guess, like, they were pretty much on a date, weren't they?
Yeah, we were saying back then about how she's kind of playing it cool and hot and cold and not really giving him anything to go on, and him kind of being just desperate for anything, but
yeah,
that's still definitely what's happening here.
So it's worse with confirmed.
Yeah, it's kind of I don't know, it's like seeing when you're friends in this situation, you're like, oh, man, it's not worth it, man.
Just stop going for it.
But like when you're there, it's a different thing.
You're in the moment, you're like, I got the bit between my teeth, I've got to like chase this down. But to be fair, you're Felicia, like last time I saw you, Peter, I got kidnapped by a giant octopus man.
Yeah, and you almost died because you were thrown out of a window.
Somehow you're fine. In fact, you were probably like too horny for the situation. And he's like, yeah, heights turn me on, babe.
Yeah, that was the concussion that was finally to throw off.
Yeah.
But he's walking with her this time, and he asks her out again. She says no again, but it's kind of like she's proper like, well, you're just my science partner. You know a lot about science. You help me with my school stuff. It's nothing more. She's being quite clear about the boundary there, but he's clearly there for the date and still thinks it's part of this sort of chase he's on. Yeah. He's read the game.
Yeah. If you're in Peter Parker's like shoes, like there's no way he didn't read the game. He's gonna try to start negging her or something like that.
But before he can get to that, his spider sense goes off, and he ends up kind of like leaving her because he's just like, oh, something's going on. And
like mid-sentence.
Yeah, and he sees like there's this guy very obviously following him around, and he's like, okay, something's up with this guy. So he goes to chase him down as Spider-Man. Yeah. And he kind of when he first starts out like in this episode wearing a suit, it very much reminded me of the comics because he's kind of working off his frustration with Felicia. Yeah. Of just like, oh, finally I can do some action as Spider-Man, which is kind of the push and pull that happens a lot in those comics that I really appreciate. Yeah. Of him thinking, there's all this bullshit going on in my personal life that Spider-Man 100% makes worse, but then when it makes it worse, how do I feel better? I go out as Spider-Man to go take the piss out of some people and
it's almost like an addiction, isn't it?
It's properly like an addiction, and it can get to some dark places, but at the same time it can be really fun. Just like drugs.
Just like heroin. Yeah, quote us on that. Please quote us on that. Heroin is fun. It will definitely not ruin your life. But no, what else better than heroin? Heroes. Superheroes. Spider-Man. So he swings in. He's like, what the hell? Why are you following me? And that's when he realises that a bank robbery is in progress.
Yeah, the building just like
blows up.
Yeah, he's not really smartly figuring out. Just the building blows up right below him by coincidence.
But no, yeah, he blows up. He almost falls to the ground. Yeah. Saves himself with a web shooter.
Swings after these guys.
Kisses his web shooters.
Yeah. As you do.
As you do.
And he could take these guys out in 4 seconds, but instead he very slowly takes one guy, webs him to a wall, chats to him for a little bit, swings after them, and while they're sort of
like, in the middle of getting away almost.
Yeah, and they get to their getaway vehicle and they start, that's when they're like, oh, where's Joey or whatever.
Yeah. And he's got the diamonds and whatever.
Yeah, and when he turns up and he's doing the standard thing with the wisecracking, but he's so committed to it this time. He's absolutely certain that he can take these guys down in a second. So he just literally just hangs upside down and looks at them, talks shit at them. One of them gets a rocket launcher out and he doesn't even really move. He just starts swinging
from side to side.
Swinging from side to side, dodging with his rockets, which presumably have to go somewhere.
Yeah, they've killed somebody in the middle of town randomly.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even like swing fast, he kind of swings slowly, like, oh, yeah, I could try.
Yeah, and even when they start like physically attacking him, he's still just swinging around. It's really like
from side to side.
Like they just mean absolutely nothing to him.
Like he's practicing his like comedy out of like later on.
Eventually he gets bored of doing this and just actually like
arrests them or like webs them up. Takes all their like shoes off for some reason.
I think he takes his their masks off.
Masks and shoes or something like that. Like I feel like there's more like material than just masks.
I think it's just masks, but the way the animation shows it, you just see him disappear off screen and loads of clothes fall to the floor, which is really weird.
It's really creepy.
But yeah, he just takes some photos of what happened and goes to the Bugle the next day, the Daily Bugle, to give him some photos the next day.
And Robbie Robertson is loving them. He's like, these are really good, Peter. And Peter's like, yeah, thanks, Dad. I mean, Robbie.
They should have included that. Like he does that every single time he talks to him. Or I imagine everyone would.
Yeah, he's a massive dad of a dude.
I actually, like, unlike Peter Parker, I have a father and I'm fine in my relationship with him, but I would still have this surrogate father if Robbie Robertson was my dad. Yeah. I mean, fuck. I'm doing it already.
It's already happening.
But he asked me.
You can have as many dads as you want, man.
I don't think I can have a cartoon that's my dad, though.
I mean, not yet. Yeah, probably not like from like 1995. Modern cartoons, you never know.
But either way,
that's definitely a Black Mirror episode.
What? Oh, what? Like, someone's surrogate dad is a cartoon from a 90s show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really running out of ideas at this point.
We should quit season 4.
But then the dad tries to kill him.
Oh no!
Society, technology.
Can you fuck a 90s cartoon? The answer is no. The answer will always be
no. My phone's dating my mum. You know. I actually like Black Mirror, kind of.
It's really easy to make fun of.
Yeah.
This is
back before Black Mirror existed, back before phones.
Robbie Robertson
was hanging around.
He was looking at photos.
What a weird segue, but he's looking at the photos and he's asking him like, how do you get these shots these good? And JJ comes in like, actually like, yeah, really but how do you get this stuff?
I mean, like, I don't know. If I'm JJ and like Peter's been doing this for months by now, why are you getting mad about it now? Like, he's just like in a shit mood or something.
As with a lot of stuff that happens in this episode, I feel like it seems like it comes out of nowhere, but it could also be the end point of months of this stuff. Yeah. Of like, oh, now I'm at the point where I just need to ask. Yeah.
We had that whole like tension thing of like, well, do you know Spider-Man? And Peter goes, and then like JJ is just like, oh, this explanation. And Peter's like, yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, I put a camera on a stick. Yeah, that's how I did it.
Yeah, he invented the selfie stick.
He literally did, right?
Yeah.
But he just did it in a way that no one could afford to do because no one's got web shooters.
Well, yeah, he has to invent the web shooters first, which just seems like a very roundabout way to do it. Yeah. He's really mad at like this invention of the selfie stick for beating him to the punch. But no, yeah. So yeah, J.J. Jameson's suspicious of Peter, which makes Peter suspicious of him.
Yeah, because he notices the guy who was following him earlier going back into JJ's office, and it turns out it's a guy called Mac Gargan, who's this like slimy private investigator who's been hired by JJ to find out how he's
follow Peter around.
Yeah, how does he get these photos?
And what's clear from the episode is that this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who he reminds me of, but he's this proper archetype of like, he's not the Moses like Eddie Brock, like a go-getter who's kind of
a bit of a scumbag.
This guy is proper scumbag, but he also sucks. I don't know, he's this every word you can have for it, like the basement dweller, the Harry S. Plinkett. He's on forums like saying angry things about women.
Yeah. He definitely is one of the pickup artists, for sure.
He's a men's rights activist.
For sure.
Yeah,
He started Gamergate.
Scorpion started Gamergate. Oh, fuck. Fucked up on mentions now.
Think of all those MRAs who could unfollow us.
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't say, we made no comment about them. We're just saying that that's what Scorpion is.
It is, and everyone happens to hate him.
Yeah.
For unrelated reasons.
But yeah, also people are really mean to him.
For no reason.
Yeah, everyone's shit talking. And it keeps happening with JJ where he's like, oh man, everyone's always making fun of me. Don't make fun of me. And then JJ's like,
yeah, because you suck.
Yeah, should I not make fun of you, you piece of shit?
Fuck you.
Yeah, so there's a lot of back and forth over that. And
it's literally just forth. It's just like him going, oh, please don't be a piece of shit to me, but why? You're a piece of shit.
Yeah. He doesn't help himself though.
Gargan, you're worthless.
Oh, gee, Mr. Jameson, don't call me names. People have been making fun of me all my life.
Yeah, and I can see why.
Eventually, this is made even worse when Spider-Man comes in, because Peter's left and he's now, I'm going to revisit this as Spider-Man and I'm going to try and throw them off by making some distance between me and Peter Parker by kind of shit-talking Parker and being kind of threatening of like, get off my case. tell Parker to leave me the fuck alone. He webs up Gargan against the wall, but like uses like all his webbing. He like completely, it was so excessive.
Yeah.
Like,
and he just was this like little like tower. He's like, this is what's gonna happen to Peter. He just jumps.
He makes a tower of webbing and then smashes it to. I get what he's going for. He's trying to completely make it look like there's no connection, but he goes really hard with it, and it upsets Jonah, who's
somehow there's a really just dark flashback that comes in.
Yeah, and we don't get the whole flashback right at the start, but we get hints of it, of him being a young reporter and being told on the phone by some criminal to
literally back off.
Yeah, get off this case.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing that Spider-Man's telling him now, and he's getting like, you know,
like flashbacks.
He's getting flashbacks, and he's kind of pushed to the edge by this, and then he kind of ominously says, "Oh, what happened to me will never happen again."
Yeah.
At this point, he's kind of caught up in his own thing, whereas Gargan's like, "Oh man."
Yeah.
And
he's like, "Shut up, Gargan."
Yeah, and he just like shit talks him again, but he's like, "Well, do you want to get your revenge on Spider-Man? I can just use you as a pawn in this feud." And
he's like, Gargan's like, "I need a win." Like,
yeah, he's like, "I want money. I'll do whatever you want. I want revenge. I want to be the big guy.
I want everyone to not shit talking me all the time." Like,
yeah, you know, and there's a proper monkey's paw wish, you know, where things go. But he and Gargan immediately go to Empire State University,
where there's like a mad scientist was just on employ.
Yeah, and they kind of, at first you're going to like, well, this is a bit drastic out of nowhere, but there's some kind of offhand reference to like, "Oh, I've been funding your operations for months," or something. So,
something like that, because I was confused as hell.
Yeah, it was that presumably he's been researching this for ages, but there's a Professor Farley Stillwell, who I keep wanting to call Sitwell after the guy in Arrested Development. But
his eyebrow falls off halfway through the scene.
But he's bringing in Gargan as this test subject, as to create someone to stop Spider-Man by using the neogenic recombinator, which is the same like purple and silver radiation gun thing that the Lizard used back in episode 1.
Yeah.
Which I believe is also the same like radiation thing that
hit the spider, wasn't it?
The spider like is in contact with. And bites Peter Parker and makes him Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of connected here. But this guy who somehow got a hold of this incredibly dangerous project has now put a scorpion in it, and he's made a little scorpion suit with a tail. And the idea is for Gargan to get into this big baggy suit
and then just shoot him with radiation.
Shoot the shit out of him with radiation, but scorpion radiation.
I suppose a spider radiation, or.
And the idea is that scorpions are the natural predator of spiders.
Which is, I guess I follow the logic just about.
It's fine. It's fine. And it's to blend the DNA with the scorpion DNA.
Yeah.
And they saw what happened with Lizard, right? Although I guess the Lizard stuff was brushed under the rug.
Yeah, like no one really knows about it.
Yeah, so I guess that it kind of might make a bit more sense for them to try this out.
And maybe just get Connor just a worse scientist than this guy, because like he doesn't turn into a giant like Scorpion. Because you kind of think he would, but he just kind of just becomes Scorpion instead. Yeah,
it's much better. Well, it doesn't go great, to be fair, eventually.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, there's one line where Gargan says like, "Oh my god, this like it really hurts. Why does it hurt so much?" And then the doctor just goes, "Don't worry, that's just the radiation."
Yeah, as if he didn't know at this point that that's what's happening.
I feel strange.
Easy. It's the radiation.
Radiation? Make that stuff dangerous?
Not for someone with your limited intelligence.
He starts to grow into the suit he's wearing. It's like a evil Captain America sort of procedure. It's very similar to it, except for it's a shitty guy and a shitty thing is happening to him. And the idea is that he's meant to be stronger than Spider-Man and more agile and all this stuff. And now he's also got this suit which has a robotic tail on it as well.
It shoots acid.
Yeah.
So why not?
And
how does he operate the tail, out of interest?
I think it's just wired up to his brain.
Okay, fair enough.
But they then head out and they got all these J3 communications helicopters.
Yeah. Jamiroquai's in the back just like singing on JJ.
Oh yeah, you guys have got to check out, what was it, episode?
I think episode 4.
Episode 4, yeah. To
understand that really, really obscure reference.
Yeah. Obscure show now obscure referencing itself.
Yeah.
But these helicopters are now flying around New York trying to find Spider-Man for Scorpion to take out on Jonah's behest. They eventually find him, and Gargan just like takes him on, like kind of kicks the shit out of him a bit, like cuts
swings in, like takes apart his webs.
Yeah, he can like slice it or pinch it because he's a Scorpion.
Yeah.
And fire acid at him. He's agile, so he's kind of like dodging in a way that Spider-Man can't see him.
Yeah.
And hitting him with his tail. All this stuff, he's kind of kicking his ass.
Beating the shit out of him.
And especially for Spider-Man, he's kind of like, what is going on right now? Who are you? Why is this happening? And
this is the first time he's probably been like surprised by anything that's happened to him.
Yeah, and also it's like the most powerful person he's fought. Although when you think about it, the power set's actually not that different from the Lizard.
Or Dr. Octopus was probably like as good a fight. Like he gets his ass similarly handed to it.
Yeah, but like on a pure physical level.
Yeah.
Because Scorpion's whole thing is that he's not smart at all.
He's kind of a shithead.
Yeah.
That's why no one likes him. So yeah, he throws him against a water tower. The water tower explodes.
He proper takes him out at this point.
As it would.
At this point, JJ's like, yeah, let's get him close and everything. Like, just go and unmask him now.
Yeah.
But
as he goes to do it,
Scorpion sees his reflection and is like, okay, like his eyes are turning yellow, his pupils are changing, his teeth are getting sharp, he's becoming bigger, he's becoming more monstrous, and he starts freaking out.
Gets pretty pissed off at J.J. Jameson as well. He's like, what the fuck did you use me?
Yeah, I thought that radiation was fine. But, so he like knocks the helicopter, and JJ's like still wants to get in there and like unmask Spider-Man, and the guy's like,
fuck that shit.
he's like, fuck that shit, I've got kids. Like,
Are you crazy?
Yeah, and takes him.
Yeah, just flies close to Scorpion Man trying to kill us. Why not?
So he heads back to J3 headquarters.
Do you reckon he knew the job before he flew out? He was just like, oh sure, Mr. Jameson, we'll go on a helicopter ride. What? What?
You know, I agreed to watch the Scorpion Man from afar, but
not to fly in and fight
this is
him in a
way
helicopter.
too hot for me.
Got a family. This wasn't in my contract. Yeah, Scorpion fighting an extra man. So yeah, he flies on J3 headquarters.
Yeah, and where in the Bugle, Robbie is watching a news report of all this destruction caused by Scorpion. It's like the whole city is like smoking. He's really fucked the place up.
It's going to town. It's amazing.
Yeah, and that's when Jonah's like, this is all my fault. And when he's like, what, why, how is this possibly your fault? He then goes, oh, back when I was a young man, and starts reminiscing about how he, as a young reporter, was told by a crime boss to back off a story, and instead he didn't, and his wife is implied to have been like killed by a man in a mask, and ever since then he's had a vendetta, not against crime, but specifically men in masks.
Yeah.
And he doesn't trust them, and that's why that's his reasoning in this canon. I don't think this is in anything else but this show, but he just hates men in masks, literally.
Yeah. Can't go to any more like Cirque du Soleil shows. Hates like wrestling matches. Just
the thing is, it's very inconsistent, because for those who
surgeons refuses to go into surgery, he's like, take off that mask.
Breathe on me. It's fine.
Breathe right into my open wound.
For those who don't remember, Scorpion has a mask.
Yeah.
And he's presumably had some input into this
design
of this costume, and he's wearing a mask and he's fine there. Also, last episode he kind of was fine having some kind of alliance with Mysterio, and Mysterio is wearing
a mask.
Well, I mean, the problem with the mask isn't that he hates masks as a piece of clothing. It's just like you're hiding your identity.
Yeah.
Right. So a fishbowl consumed with mist
is for all intents and purposes a mask.
Yeah, it's the best kind of mask.
Yeah. So Robbie's disappointed as always in the show. Just Robbie's like, oh, J.J.
Yeah, why the fuck is everyone not as amazing as I am?
Yeah.
So once he's given his sort of flashback, he heads back to ESU. Like, we need to find a way to cure this guy.
Kind of runs in yelling.
Yeah, and Stillwell explains that I'm looking at these charts. This guy's gone completely mental now. Oh, I should have listened to Kurt Connor's warnings about this device. But obviously, I'm assuming Kurt Connors didn't say, oh yeah, I turned myself into a giant lizard, because he wants to keep that on the down low. So he's just
it's also you
he's like, yeah, this is a bad idea. Don't do
this. Yeah.
But I'm just gonna leave it here. Just don't touch it. You know,
watching
this is my stuff. I'll leave a note on it saying, this is Kurt's in the fridge.
And then someone ate his lunch but left his like death gun just around. Guys, come on! I brought that from home.
But Scorpion breaks in and is insisting that he cures him, but he's like, oh well, I can't now, this is irreversible. So he just, as revenge, runs off, grabs Jameson with his tail and just starts running away with him.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, like, Peter's making a call to Aunt May. I can't remember, he's just like saying I'll be a bit late for dinner or something.
And then Aunt May's like, oh yeah, like Mary Jane's coming over.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, that's the point where he's like, yeah, like I brought like that Mary Jane girl over or something like that. And yeah, so fans of the podcast might recognise one of the images in this particular scene. as the display picture from our podcast.
Yeah, that with him on the phone and he's kind of leaning forward in a way that makes his like shoulders and back like really like lumpy and weird.
Yeah.
It's a great image, but it's kind of weird to see it in this episode.
Motion, yeah.
But he makes this call and he puts his mask back on while he's talking to her, which I guess muffles his voice, and she says, "Oh, it sounds like you're catching a bug." And he's like, "I certainly hope so."
And May's like, "What?"
Yeah, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense.
Crazy ass motherfucker.
And he's like, "No, I'm just gonna go make myself ill."
Yeah.
And goes to chase down the actual bug.
The Scorpion, who's climbing up a wall with J. Jonah Jameson at this very moment. Where's he headed?
Well, he's going to Oscorp Industries, where he's planning to use a nuclear reactor to turn him back to normal. Because he's like, radiation made me this way, radiation will turn me back to normal.
Says the man who clearly doesn't have like a physics degree of any kind.
Well, also doesn't have a mind anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if the regular Mac Gargan would have made that call or not. Maybe he was stupid enough to do that, but he's kind of crazy as well at this point.
He's like, this must work.
Yeah, I feel like, it's that insanity clause again. Every single villain, like, when they do something weird in this, is like, yeah, but they're crazy.
They're clearly just off their rockers completely.
Yeah.
It's fucking rocks, man.
So he's heading there, and James is like, "You're going to destroy the whole city doing this." He's like, "I don't give a fuck."
Yeah.
So they head to Oscorp, where Spider-Man arrives and starts kicking his ass. But Scorpion punches like a console in a way that
it starts a nuclear reaction.
Yeah, it sounds like a meltdown. Like it's proper like Simpsons.
Yeah.
Meltdown in a nuclear plant.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man starts doing another science lesson while he's
like
in the middle of a fight.
Yeah. J. Jonah Jameson's like, "Okay, how do we do this?" And like Spider-Man goes like, "Oh, okay, we need to do this and this." Jumps to one side to like avoid like the tail coming in, and jumps on the ceiling to avoid the acid being shot at him. He's like, "Okay, now do this and this and this, and hit this red button, and we should be fine." And Jonah's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? How the fuck do you know this?"
I guess it's like a follow-up to like him, Felicia saying about how good he is with science at the start of the episode, or why he's a good science partner, and they're showing this off again. But he's also like, it's unnecessary information. He's describing exactly how this nuclear reaction is starting. But anyway, he reveals like, oh, basically after all this, there's a big red button and you gotta press it to turn it off. And the rest of this fight is them trying to get to this button, but Scorpion repeatedly getting in the way and knocking them down and almost murdering them both.
So yeah, at one point he gets like Spider-Man, he's like giving him a massive bear hug. And he's like slowly going black. Because that's what you do when you're getting knocked out, you kind of narrate how much you're getting knocked out by. And then who comes in but J. Jonah Jameson and just
saves Spider-Man's life.
Runs into like Scorpion, just elbows him a little bit.
Yeah, and we should mention at this point that like throughout this fight, Scorpion is becoming more and more monstrous. Like by the end of this fight, he's like, I don't know, like 15 feet tall or something. He's massive. He's like the size of the Hulk.
Yeah. Have you seen Rampage yet?
No.
It kind of reminded me a bit of Rampage because like the gorilla keeps on growing all the way through that.
Oh right.
So it's like Dwayne The Rock Johnson's size at the beginning, but by the time he like comes to the end of the fight, he's like 3 times the size of Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah. I guess they needed to get the audience to believe in the idea of a giant gorilla by doing it slowly.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just stupid. But yeah. I'm just remembering that film. But no, oh yeah, so big ass Scorpion man.
Tune in next week to hear Henry silently reminisce about Dwayne The Rock Johnson movies.
For 3.5 hours, just with silence and just quiet giggling.
Just quiet giggling every now and then.
Yeah.
And just whispering George to himself. Eventually, after Jameson like knocks him down, Scorpion's like, "Why are you saving this guy? You just talked about how much you hated him for the years now."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, you're the greater evil at this point, and I know Spider-Man can stop you." At which point, Spider-Man kind of proves him right, because a wire gets exposed, and he starts taunting Scorpion to get him over there.
Oh yeah, like at the point
really
where like,
lays into him.
Yeah, the point they're just like taking turns, just taking pot shots at this guy, just yelling like insults at him.
So, you don't like names, huh? Well, that's too bad, Frog Face. Because to me, you're nothing but a 2-bit, no-account, second-rate, sewer-breath baboon with the brain of a pigeon and the face of an eel.
And Scorpion's not having any of it, so he strikes him with his tail, and he just like breaks the wire, hits his tail with it, electrocutes him until he's just downed on the floor. And then he sort of, while falling, ends up like knocking the ceiling down, which requires Spider-Man to save Jameson from that with some of his webbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Scorpion's already down at that point, but Spider-Man then webs him up, and then just gets right in his face and just starts like, what's it he says? He says, oh yeah, I'm getting double
vision.
Yeah, which I didn't even get because fission and vision sound very similar anyway. So
that's the point of the pun, yeah.
Yeah, I know, it works.
Yeah.
But I even though he had to get right in his face to say it like 3 times to like rub it in that he's won the fight, even I didn't get it.
Oh, he's like, get it? Get it?
Yeah.
And he doesn't get it.
So I guess I am dumber than the Scorpion.
Well, you haven't like infused some with radiation and tried to like replace that with more radiation, so slightly further ahead. So slightly. But yeah, so at that point, like J. Jonah Jameson like, hits the red button. The explosion has stopped. Like no security comes in at any point during this fight.
No, that I guess everyone went home for the weekend.
Yeah, yeah. This nuclear reactor will be fine. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Let's forget the moment that like our boss got like almost killed by a spider about like 2 months ago.
Oh yeah, shit! I completely forgot this was Oscorp all the time.
Yeah.
Must be pissed.
Yeah. Comes in on Monday, what the fuck happened?
Or he just comes in like, oh right, yeah, this happened again. We got an insurance clause for this. We've already got one for Scorpion Man, even though they didn't exist.
Yeah, he's not gonna be ahead of the game. Like he's got one for all kinds of like different people. One for Rhino people.
Where's my Scorpion guy? Where is he? I'm right here, boss.
Yeah, I haven't left your side, sir.
I had a Google alert set up for Scorpion person attacks nuclear fission plant.
I was getting there because my family was starving. Like, I really needed this.
Yeah. I'm on commission here. Like, I need a win.
Yeah, goddamn. But no, yeah. So Oscorp is probably fine. A nuclear reactor almost went off, but it didn't. And yeah, so J. Jonah Jameson and Spider-Man have this whole like almost a heart to heart.
Yeah, they're just basically like they kind of like nothing's really changed, but we acknowledge that we saved each other's lives and. I don't know. It's kind of the first like JJ episode where it's about him because I guess Scorpion himself is like
a footnote.
Yeah, he's a footnote to his own story because there's not much about Scorpion. He's just a 2-bit thug who becomes a 2-bit super thug. Yeah,
he's like a manifestation of J. Jameson's hate Spider-Man.
Oh shit! There we go.
Yeah, symbolism, all that.
Spider-Man ends up leaving and comparing himself. Their relationship to Sherlock and Moriarty.
Yeah.
Which is a bit extreme.
Yeah, it's a bit of a reach.
The weirdest thing, and I can't really talk about this for another like 60 episodes, but this line about Sherlock Holmes actually, weirdly enough, kind of plays in to the show at some point.
I'm not even going to ask.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to bring it up, but then I'm also like, I don't want to spoil this for Henry.
This is going to be insane when it comes up because I'm kind of like dying to find out how that is.
Yeah,
but it is something for a while.
Yeah, it's
a
little. I would say that the writers of the show or the producer or someone in the process really like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah, they kind of go their separate ways. Like J. Jameson's like, yeah, I'm going to stop until you've been unmasked and like sent to prison, and Spider-Man's kind of like, yeah, shave your mustache and we can talk.
Yeah.
he's got a point there, because he's got like a weird Hitler mustache, does J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, problematic.
Yeah.
It's a very small mask.
Yeah.
How do we know what you really look like?
How do we know what your lip really looks like?
Wouldn't it make more sense if Superman had a beard?
But then, like, he couldn't grow a beard in command, could he?
Well, I bet 50s Superman could. I bet there's a comic where he could.
He has a power, he can grow hair really, really fast.
Isn't there like... I feel like there's a moment in Smallville where he shaves and it just like fucks up everything he tries to cut his hair with, just like gets destroyed. I don't know if he has to use like kryptonite to shave.
Or just pulls it out with his own hands.
Oh, right, yeah. Because I guess, you don't need to cut the hair.
Yeah, you just kind of pull it out.
That's why he's clean shaven all the time. Because there's no other option.
He's pulled the follicles out so many times they've just not grown back.
You just wait until it's super long and then you can just get it all in one.
And just rip it out.
Yeah.
He's just bleeding from his face for the next like week.
Oh, God. What a horrible tangent.
We have scabs to heal and shit like that. Clark, why's your face so scabby? Oh, I had an acid peel really, really recently. That's why. No other reason. I can just pull my hairs out.
I'm not Superman.
I'm not Superman. I'm just a guy with a scabby face.
You bring up the word scabby.
I really like the idea.
Quite a lot.
Like, it's been 2 episodes of scabby.
Yeah, but in each one you've said it like 20 times and I never hear the word scabby in any other situation.
I don't really like the imagery that it kind of brings up.
You're the only one who likes that imagery.
Yeah.
It's the worst imagery in the world. I can't actually think of anything worse unless you're like, oh, I really like the imagery of gangrenous flesh.
With scabs.
Why am I doing this?
Why are you?
Why am I doing this with my life? Anyway, back to this episode.
Yeah.
Peter's leaving ESU, and Felicia comes in, like, basically almost runs him over.
Yeah.
Like, she's so, like, incensed that he kind of left her hanging at the start of the episode, but in a good way.
Somehow it works for him.
So she's like, oh, you're kind of unpredictable. I like that. And now I'm kind of upgrading you from never going to date you to you can take me out for lunch one time.
Wow.
And he's kind of into it. He's like, yeah, this is great. But it doesn't seem like that much of a win, because this isn't like the Jim and Pam, like, slow romance evolving throughout the show or anything like that. It's just kind of her kind of not really kind of mistreating him and seeing like she's not actually that interested, but she's just kind of doing her own thing, and him just kind of blindly going along behind
So taking like as a sign, like, oh, this must mean she likes me.
Yeah.
In reality, she just wants a free lunch.
Yeah, and even though she's super rich, but at the end of the episode, it's kind of like, life's full of surprises. Like, it's a really nice thing, but it's like, you just...
By the time it's some next episode, you're going to be, like, back in the dumps again.
I feel like if you have to work this hard to get someone to just hang out with you over lunch...
Should you be hanging out with them at all?
Yeah, maybe you guys just don't vibe that well.
Yeah.
Like, especially since she's going out for dates with Flash. We've seen her on a date with Flash,
yeah.
So she clearly, like, is fine with it for some people.
And, like, whenever she's with Flash, like, she sees Peter, like, ooh, Peter. But she doesn't even want to go out with him or anything like that. She's just kind of, like, fucking with Flash.
It's like what she just wants what she can't have. So if Peter's like, oh, yeah, I've got to go, she's like, oh, I really like him. And if he's like, oh, hey, yeah, let's go out for 10 dates. I love you so much. And she's like, yeah, okay, yeah, not interested.
And then she runs off mid-sentence again. That's the end of the episode. There's a really cool, like, shot of, like, Peter walking and, like the astral projection of Spider-Man's kind of, like, projected behind him.
Yeah.
This is a really cool shot.
Yeah, I think it's actually I'm not sure if the composition's exactly the same, but I think there's a famous issue of him, like, walking away from Spider-Man. They kind of did a reverse thing of it.
Yeah.
Just being a silhouette on the horizon of him.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Scandalicious. But yeah, that was the end of the episode.
Oh, and Fuzzhead, thanks for saving my life.
What did you think of this episode, Jack?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I think it's very much a straight adaptation of one of the, like, basic, not particularly interesting, but still kind of okay Spider-Man stories.
Yeah.
And Scorpion's always kind of been that.
Yeah.
I feel like I liked him a lot more when I was a kid, because the basic premise of him being this stronger arachnid was kind of an exciting prospect to me. And the fact that it has a loose connection to actual science was enough for me back then.
That's pretty fascinating, actually, in a way.
But compared to other villains we've had so far, he's just...
Good dude, really just, like, shat upon dude.
Yeah, I do appreciate that he's just having the shittest time constantly. You know, he actually, you know what he reminded me of?
What?
For those of you who listened to last episode on our weird little bullshit corner, he reminds me a lot of the Gibbon.
Yeah. As soon as you said it.
Yeah, the Gibbon never shows up in this show, but as we talked about last week, he's just this put-upon guy who's not necessarily the nicest guy, but...
Deserves better than, like,
yeah,
the abuse he's getting.
And he's just like getting treated badly, reacting badly to that abuse, and then getting powers, and then just getting in a fight and like, oh, he's a villain now. And there's kind of no redemption there. He's just like gonna be shitty for the rest of his days.
Yeah.
It's kind of like cynical.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the fact he's kind of one of the only villains to do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of find Scorpion endearing, but as his own antagonist, as the sole antagonist of an episode, he's not particularly interesting.
No. There's no, like, visible threat to Spider-Man beyond his, like, real need to just be less disrespected by everybody.
And also, they don't really make him... I feel like in that fight, he does kind of get the upper hand, but he's immediately shown to be so stupid that it's not really got a chance of beating him up.
Yeah. Like, if we're talking brute force, maybe, but, like, Spider-Man's much smarter than him.
Yeah.
He doesn't take well to instructions. Yeah,
there's not really much to add to this, other than I do think the whole backstory with JJ's dead wife is just still kind of crazy.
It's surprisingly dark, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think in different continuities, there's been different reasonings. Because after a while, they're like, why is this guy so anti-Spider-Man to the point that he's endangering the public with his schemes? And this one, they definitely tried to get it, but then they were also like, what can we do in a 20-second flashback in a Saturday morning cartoon, and it ends up becoming this really rushed thing that doesn't quite make sense.
No. You're like, yeah, like, that's not really solid logic, J. Jonah Jameson, but I mean, go for it. Like, it's the second time where, like, we had a flashback which just immediately linked to death after Uncle Ben, I guess.
Oh, right, yeah, with the Uncle Ben last episode.
Is this going to be happening, like, more often, do you think? Like, next episode, we're going to have, like, I don't know, like, who else dies in the show? Lots of people die in the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's not much to say about this one, really, I don't think.
It's just a standard episode. Like, it's good fun. Good shit talking.
Yeah,
The shit
yeah.
talking
I tell you what, it is a funny episode.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still not living up to that Return of the Spider Slayer, I don't think.
No.
But it is
Not many things
funny.
can.
And I do like the idea of Spider-Man getting his chance to go out and take his frustration and look for action in his kind of strange, addicted way to, like, going out as Spider-Man, getting to be someone who doesn't... someone who gets to win.
Yeah.
Whereas in his personal life, he's just kind of hanging around and, like, having a woman repeatedly, like...
Reject him.
And he's like, oh, well, I'm just going to go out and...
beat some criminals.
At least he's turning it into to something productive. Like, I'm gonna stop crime. I'm not gonna
like blame women for being like sluts or whatever.
Yeah, he's not. Peter is not an MRA.
No.
The Scorpion is.
The Scorpion definitely is.
Yeah.
A woman's never touched him in his life. He's probably still a virgin.
Yes, Scorpion is an incel.
Yeah. He's definitely an incel. There's no way that guy fucks.
Yeah, especially now.
No.
Because it looks like this is a permanent change. I don't think he can. I'm not even sure if he can take that suit off. I think he's just.
I think he's just grown into it so much that he just can't like take it off.
Yeah, he's just like a horrible existence now, and that's
How do
what
you
he
take a
gets.
shower?
I think you don't. I think being sweaty is the least of his problems, to be honest.
I mean, like initially, but imagine the stench of him after like 3 days.
Yeah, again, if you're hanging out with a Scorpion, there's worse things to think about. He might just hit you with acid. He's incredibly violent and crazy. He just sucks to talk to.
And he smells like a garbage dump, like on fire.
Yeah, and he can probably smell it as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't even like being around himself.
Just
What
hurting his...
horrible existence.
His self-esteem must be through the floor.
Yeah.
Like, he tries to go to a therapist, but no one will take him because he smells so bad.
And I'm assuming at no point, because it would kind of break the show, I don't think at any point Jonah or the Doctor are going to have to go to prison for creating this monster. So he's just going to be abandoned.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what you get for, like, just wanting to, like, make something of yourself that one time. Yeah, like, his life is terrible, God, like...
In the comics, slightly less terrible. It's pretty bad, but, like, it's less like him. I feel like he has a bit more... In the comics, I feel like he is responsible for what happens to him more.
Okay.
Whereas in this, it's kind of like, he's a bit of a prick.
Yeah.
A bit of a slime ball, no one likes him, but it's not really his fault he got turned into a huge monster. He didn't really know that was coming.
Yeah. So what happens to him in the comic?
Well, we can look into the origins now, and we can look back to the Amazing Spider-Man 20 in 1963. The comic in which the Scorpion is from is basically like almost exactly the same as this episode.
Yeah.
But with just like less radiation
Yeah.
obsession. But still some.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, the only real big notable thing about this issue is that he's the first kind of anti-Spider-Man villain, in the same way that you get like Venom and stuff like that. The idea of someone meeting their match with someone that's opposite them.
Okay.
The closest, I guess, would have been Doc Ock, but it's not really.
An opposite thing.
Yeah, that's more of a.
Ideology thing.
Yeah, and he's another animal, but there's
Yeah.
loads of animals in this.
So many
Animal-themed enemies.
Like, pretty much all of them, apart
Yeah,
from a couple.
but this is more of a case of like, you know, a goblin, not really the natural predator of the spider.
Depends
but,
on what part of like the country, really. But
yeah, some weird shit goes down in Birmingham. But
yeah, the goblin population out there is out of control.
yeah, but there's not in terms of a scorpion being like, oh, it's another arachnid, but it's stronger and it's got a tail that sting. Like, yeah, that works. And
You can follow that, yeah.
And it's a similar setup where Peter's being tailed by someone, and the whole time he thinks someone's maybe figured out his secret identity.
Yeah.
So he's trying to sneak away from this guy, and he's trying to follow the guy as Spider-Man, but also let the guy think he's tailing Peter. So he's changing back and forth his costume. At one point, he makes a bat out of webbing. And then like glides it like a paper airplane down, so that the guy's like, whoa, it's a bat, and then he quickly runs into his house and changes back into Peter.
Oh, wow.
But other than that, it's pretty much
That's
like,
some Brady Bunch shit, I like that.
yeah, it's pretty much the only difference really in that setup. And in this one, Jonah hasn't figured out in advance to do this whole Scorpion thing.
Oh, right.
He's just got this PI, he's got Mac Gargan tailing him around, and at some point just goes, oh, I seen this advert in the paper about a guy who is causing artificial mutations in animals. Maybe they could do that on a human. So he just goes to see, like, Gargan comes back and is like, oh, I don't know what's going on with Peter Parker, I didn't find anything. And he's like, that's fine, come with me to this other place. And he goes and finds the same scientist, Farley Stillwell. I can never get that right.
We'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah, he goes and finds Stan Sitwell. And
who's been funded by like Lucille Ostero.
And in his laboratory he's got like he's got a fish who can breathe air, because he's mixing and matching these animal things. So there's a fish who's like on a tree and he's like walking around, and then he's got a rat who's swimming in the water and breathing underwater, and it's just there. And he goes like, yeah, I can do this. He's like, oh, could you do something like this in a human? And he goes like, I'm a research scientist, I don't want to. Why would you want to put a scorpion in a man? Like, not really interested.
Is this legal?
But Jonah, who's just making all of the cash, is just like, yeah, I'll give you 10 grand, do it. And the guy doesn't want to, but he's like, I do need funding, so he says yes. And Gargan as well is like, yeah, I'll take 10 grand to be the test subject.
Yeah.
He's happy to do it in this case.
He needs the cash.
And as he's doing it, the scientist is like, this might affect your brain. You know, it's like a big deal. You might go crazy. And he's like, yeah, I don't care.
I'm already crazy.
And the whole Scorpion thing in this, that it seems like the main angle for it is that Jonah wants poetic justice to the fight.
Yeah. They're going to look like a bear or like an actual killing machine when it goes to a scorpion, because it's an actual predator.
And when he gets his suit, it looks a bit different in that he doesn't have a stinger on it like he does in the episode.
Does it have a tail, though?
Yeah, it has a tail.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't have like an actual stinger on it, and he doesn't shoot acid. I think they upgrade it and add stuff to it over the years, but at the start thing, it's just basically a big sledgehammer.
Oh, shit.
Soon enough, like he heads out to fight Spider-Man, and it was only after that the scientist's like, oh wait, his strength is going to increase over time, but as his strength increases, the more his evil nature will take over. So this is literally just making him evil. So he starts making an antidote ready.
Yeah.
To like unscorpion the Scorpion.
Yeah.
And Scorpion heads out and immediately just kicks the shit out of Spider-Man. He doesn't have a chance, and it's way more brutal than it is in the episode, because he just doesn't have a chance. And immediately after this, he's like, oh, well, I'm really strong now, so I'm just gonna like rob an armored car, and just like starts robbing stuff. At which point, like Jonah, this whole time when he's fighting Spider-Man, he's like he got like a shit-eating grin on his face. He's loving it so much. And then immediately after, he starts robbing places, and it's the complete opposite reaction of like, oh fuck,
what have I done?
I fucked up so bad. He doesn't really learn a lesson, because then he just does all this stuff with Spider Slayers.
Is that before Spider? Yeah, it's before Spider, let's say, isn't it?
Maybe, but the Spider Slayers are there's various things that Jonah's involved with.
Yeah.
If one happens before this point, regardless, he does it afterwards anyway.
Sure.
So he's not really learning his lesson.
Does anything trigger like JJJ's like sudden hatred of Spider-Man? So what kind of inspires him to go, fuck, let's make a Scorpion? Or is it just like something he's been brewing around for a while?
What, the Scorpion stuff specifically?
Yeah, because like during the episode, like Peter's like going to Spider-Man to intimidate him. He gives him this big flashback.
No, I think he's just angry at Spider-Man in general, in the same way he always is, and I think he sees the clipping about a scientist who can do these mutations.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, why am I seeing this? I need to find someone who can stop Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then he's like, wait a minute.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Because the man only thinks in like Spider-Man terms.
During this, the Doctor runs to the scene with this serum.
Yeah.
And he sees them fighting. He starts like trying to climb up the building to get to him. And he ends up getting knocked off by the Scorpion. And as he's falling, he like throws the antidote and misses. So the antidote shatters and is gone. He falls and Spider-Man doesn't have time to catch him.
So he dies.
What? Yeah, like 2 pages later, they're like, oh, well, that Doctor is dead now.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, fuck. So presumably irreversible for the Scorpion, because the guy who made the antidote is dead as well.
Yeah.
As the antidote being gone. At this point now, he's beaten Spider-Man. He's like, well, the only person against me now is Jonah, because he knows my identity. So he goes after Jonah. And he starts attacking him, and I think Jonah kind of like pushes Betty out of the way before Spider-Man comes and starts up the fight again. While they're fighting as well, he fires webbing at him and he gets webbed up and he's like, oh, how do I get out of this? And he's like, oh, of course, I'm a scorpion. And he just gets he doesn't have sharp claws in the comics, he just has regular gloved hands. And he just like makes pincing motions with his hand and it like cuts all the webbing because I'm a scorpion.
I'm just
he's got such good grip that it like is scissors. It's weird. But
I'm all for it.
Yeah. And he ends up being him by just like using all his weapons to stick him to the floor so he can't move his feet.
Yeah.
Dodges his punches, just proper rips his tail off, and just keeps beating the shit out of him until he's knocked out. And that's just how he gets taken out. And Spider-Man has no clue that Jonah was involved.
Yeah.
And Jonah's like, fuck, this is ironic. I've just been saved by the guy I was trying to kill the whole time. But Peter's had the shit kicked out of him. So he heads home and makes up an excuse to Aunt May about how he got beaten up in football practice.
Yeah, something that happens, yeah.
And meanwhile, Jonah, who seems to have learned a lesson this whole time, but it just cuts to the next day, and Jonah has printed a paper with the headline, Scorpion Court, and then the subheading of Jameson is hero, and a picture of his own face smiling on it. And then Peter gets like a call from Betty being like, oh, Jonah saved my life by pushing me out of the way. And Peter's like, great. Awesome. Jonah entirely turned the whole incident around to make himself the hero, even though...
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's a proper piece of shit moment, because he had his moment to reflect and just didn't.
Just missed the point completely.
Yeah, and then there's people reading it as well who are like, oh, apparently Spider-Man showed up, but he was there when it was already over. And I don't understand how they think that, because they're like, this guy has superhuman powers, and somehow Jonah just knocked him out.
Yeah. Oh, why are you covered in webbing? Oh, I guess, like, Jonah must have just had webbing on hand.
Yeah, he knocked him out and his Spider-Man came and just webbed him up and then ran away.
Yeah, try to take the credit for it. If that's, like, what you want for Spider-Man, if you're Triple J, you're like, oh, fuck. How do I, like make Spider-Man look like an arsehole and make myself look like a great person?
Yeah, so I guess he has a chance to turn things around, but just doesn't and doubles down on the same pointless mission. And he doesn't have a vendetta against Masked Man in this, so... It's
just, like, a Spider-Man thing specifically.
I think maybe... they definitely have tried to give him a reasoning in the past, like over the years, like, oh, let's do a JJ issue where we explain why he's like this. And I think a lot of it comes down to him thinking of his son, John Jameson, as being a big hero who doesn't get enough respect for, like, being an astronaut, but Spider-Man getting all the glory. But it still doesn't quite work because everyone hates Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But maybe he just... I can understand it to a certain extent of just thinking, okay, here's this guy who's just going around beating people up and...
He's a menace.
Yeah, and he's mischievous, and I believe he's secretly a crook. It does start to break down when you start thinking like, oh, okay, I'm going to create all these different horrible things to try and kill him.
Yeah.
And they keep blowing up in my face, but I'm going to keep going at
People keep on dying in horrible ways.
Yeah.
Getting, like, dismembered and permanently disfigured. It's totally worth it.
Yeah, he's already ruined Scorpion's life.
Yeah. How many more lives will he ruin? Like, did Alistair Smythe also die because of, like, J.J. Jameson? Not Alistair, sorry, Spencer Smythe, rather.
Well... Not really, but...
well, the radiation more than anything.
In a show...
In the show, not really.
In a show, it's not related to him. In the comics, Spencer Smythe was just hanging out with radiation all the time and eventually died because of it, and Alistair kind of blames Jonah for that because a lot of that was making robots for Jonah.
Yeah.
But they just kind of shifting the blame because Spencer always had a choice in that, and Spencer was doing it sometimes even when Jonah wasn't there.
Yeah.
So...
I just love radiation.
Yeah, but... I mean, I think making giant robots to trash New York is kind of pretty bad anyway.
It's pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Like, top 5 shitty.
Top 5 shitty.
Yeah. I got nothing.
As for the Scorpion in the future, I think he becomes more interesting over time because way later, like 50 years later in the comics, he eventually becomes the host of the Venom symbiote instead of Eddie Brock.
I didn't know that at all.
Okay, well, there's a whole long period of time where Eddie Brock, who most will know as Tom Hardy now, is Venom, and then the symbiote suit that he's, like the living suit thing that he's wearing, fucks off and goes on Mac Gargan and then becomes like a really monstrous version of Venom that just like eats people. I mean, I don't know if he did that like at all before, but he definitely becomes like, it's a proper plot thing of he's just constantly eating people and just like a proper cannibal and just biting heads off and stuff.
Oh, that's fun.
And that's Mac Gargan for a while, and then he goes back into the Scorpion suit after a while.
Oh right. So like, I thought like the Scorpion suit also comes in there as well. Was it just like?
No, he doesn't have a Scorpion suit, and then he gets the Venom symbiote, and then he goes back in the Scorpion suit, but he's kind of like even more crazy by that point because
loads of shit's happened to him. Like he'd probably be insane too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much of Mac Gargan. He's just another one of those shitheads that Spider-Man has to take out. I think he's probably one of, I think in the comics at least, he's probably one of the least interesting villains to me. Mm-hmm. Because he's kind of almost, he's like Shocker in terms of he's not the smartest, most powerful foe and you can take the piss out of him. But because he is actually quite formidable physically, it kind of takes away that level of like, oh, we can just quickly take this guy out. Yeah. He's a bit pathetic. So, and I don't think he gets quite so many insults in the comics as he does in this show, which is an upgrade, I think, of just making him someone who's just so unfairly treated, but also who kind of deserves it a little bit.
He was but not to that level. He needs like therapy. Like he's really like Dr. Phil or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's proper. Like he needs therapy, but he's gonna go on a reality show for therapy. He's gonna be screaming and going crazy.
So they keep up with the Kardashians, getting in a fight with like I don't know, like Khloe Kardashian or something.
Hillary.
Khloe Kardashian.
Oh, I thought there was a secret Kardashian I didn't know about.
There probably is.
I remember when I didn't know any Kardashians.
All those years ago.
Yeah, it was so good.
You know all of them now.
Yep.
Every last one.
Yep.
Except for the secret one, which could be Mac Gargan.
Mac Gargan does look like one of the people who would date a Kardashian, maybe.
Yeah, like a Scott Disick type.
Yeah.
Yep, life's definitely full of surprises.
You know, Scorpion was in Homecoming.
Very briefly at the end, right?
Oh, in the middle as
also
well.
with the barge fight, yeah. And
that's I don't really know where they're going with that because it's Michael Mando.
Okay.
Who I know from I've seen him in a few things, but I mainly know from Orphan Black, and he's really good in that. And he's really good for this kind of character, and he plays him in Homecoming like a real, like almost scary, threatening guy,
crazy person.
And he has like a scorpion tattoo, and I think he just goes by Mac Gargan.
Yeah.
But it's unclear where they're going with that because there is a version of the Scorpion in the Ultimate Comics which is different. He doesn't wear a suit. He's actually, I think he's a Miles Morales Spider-Man villain.
All right.
And he is just a crime boss, nicknamed the Scorpion.
That feels probably more what they're going towards because he had a bit of a Kingpin vibe, a little bit.
Yeah, but he also seemed like a kind of low-level fuck. He didn't seem like he was completely in charge.
No, but I feel like it's his aspirations.
Yeah, so, I mean, either he could be involved in that way, or they could, at some point, give him the suit.
I'm sure they'll kind of like blend the two together, I think.
Yeah. If they do, I think it's definitely something that you can have happen as not even the second villain of a movie, but like a third.
The guy who kind of beats up in the first, 10 minutes or so.
Not even that, but, just, have him built up throughout it while more serious stuff's going on, and then at some point he just suits up for a fight.
Okay.
He only needs, a fight with him, because I don't know how interesting he is. But at the same time, Vulture wasn't really that in the comics either.
Until they kind of brought him in.
And the way they did it in Homecoming was completely different and way more interesting.
Yeah,
so
one of the better parts of the movie, I think.
Yeah, maybe they'll get some crazy actor in to do it. They'll get Daniel Day-Lewis to play Scorpion, and it would just
because of retirement.
Yeah, because this is my last role. I'm coming back to the movie scene to play Mac Gargan, and then he's just running around with fake fangs and
biting people.
Yeah, I need radiation. That would be great.
He gets radiation poisoning specifically for this role. Goes to a nuclear reactor and be like, give me some radiation.
He makes them actually do the exact same procedure and make him into a mutated Scorpion man so he can play it more effectively.
Well, that would be dedication to the role. And they get
Michael Mando goes into the transformation chamber and Daniel Day-Lewis comes out.
Daniel Day-Lewis machine to make him act more like a Scorpion man.
Yeah. Fuck. We turned you into the perfect human.
The human specimen, Daniel Day-Lewis.
He's adaptable to all environments.
He's Doomsday. So every time you kill him, he comes back adapted to whatever killed him.
Or they just they have him linked up to a computer and they just type in Scorpion and he goes into Scorpion mode.
Like the Matrix.
Yeah. Yeah, just plug him in and upload Scorpion .jpg.
Scorpion foo.
There is actually I'm pretty sure it's a Marvel villain called Super Adaptoid.
Oh, wow,
He's like
that's-
this, like a robot who can like
Adapt to anything.
adapt and take on the powers of people attacking him, and you know, who better than Daniel Day-Lewis to play him?
Super adaptable.
Yeah, someone throws oil at him and he like turns into Daniel Plainview. Someone throws a sewing needle at him and becomes Woodcock. He can do anything.
He can do anything. He's unstoppable. What's the movie where like he's like a paraplegic or something like that?
Yeah, I was thinking that, and then I chose not to come up with something to be thrown at him to make him.
Because that could be problematic.
Yeah.
Didn't he learn Czech so he could speak English with a Czech accent?
Oh, what? It's 'cause someone threw a Czech man at him.
Yeah, entire Czech man at him.
Someone threw Peter Czech at him.
He was actually also from the Czech Republic. What? Why am I? What's going on? I don't know why he's playing like Dracula, but like, yeah. Well, that'd be great though. I love Daniel Day-Lewis as Dracula. I feel like that's like something he should have had at some point.
Yeah.
I want him to be in a Marvel film though, at some point.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many actors now which have like everyone's going to be in one. There's rumors that Angelina Jolie is going to be in the Eternals, and like Captain Marvel just like Loki had Annette Bening in it, just like out of nowhere, like just for a small role, and there's
Jude Law was in there.
Yeah, there's loads of things like that, but I feel like there's this top tier which only holds one actor, and he's just not going to do it.
Like him and Meryl Streep.
No, the thing is, I can imagine Meryl Streep doing it.
Who would she be though?
I feel like she'd take her time and she would. But
Do you know what she'd be really good as? She'd be good Madam Web.
God. Yeah, she would actually. But the whole thing is just so strange because I think there's a level of actor where it would be distracting to have them in it. Because again, like someone like Annette Bening, great actor, but it's fine to just drop her in. Like, hey, she's this alien person. Let's move on. But I feel like George Clooney turning up.
John Travolta turning up.
Yeah, exactly. These kind of big personality, big star people that would just be a bit much.
Too much. Like Nicolas Cage couldn't be any more.
Even like Matt Damon, I feel like would be weird.
Matt Damon wasn't in a Marvel movie though.
What was he?
He's in Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, yeah, but that again, they know.
The joke is that it's Matt Damon.
The joke is that he's so clearly Matt Damon, and he's so clearly performing a role that it just doesn't. He couldn't turn up and play the big wheel or something. it would be too much.
I wish. Yeah, like who else? Like Ben Affleck couldn't be. Like I guess. Possible,
Yeah,
but
he couldn't play a superhero.
No.
Yeah, that would be too
But
distracting.
again, no, he's had his chance. Christopher Walken couldn't be.
He's in Batman Returns.
Yeah, but that's like a whole different generation.
I feel like Christopher Walken can because he has a level of insane weirdness to him.
So's Nicolas Cage though.
Well, yeah, and he was Ghost Rider. And
But then we don't talk about those movies.
Cause, yeah, those movies are kind of shit, but I feel like they're like as shit as like Suicide Squad or something, where like I feel like there are defenders of that.
Yeah.
Maybe if Ghost Rider came out now, people would be defending it.
How? But like,
Well, how are people defending Suicide Squad?
I don't know people defending Suicide Squad. Like,
They are.
It's irredeemable.
It won a fucking Oscar, mate.
Did
you win an Oscar?
Well, like I was nominated, so
Oh, okay.
yeah. I felt like almost
You
there.
lost out
to Suicide Squad. Yeah.
You had a really good year of costumes.
Yeah. For a while, no one could tell who I really was. It was really
Our
fun.
first nomination is to Henry Smith for dressing really well this year. Good job, Henry.
I really needed the win. Yeah, like had a big like Oscar campaign, and like I'm glad I got nominated. I got like recognized by the whole like Academy.
Yeah,
Had a
the camera cut to a live feed to you just sat in your room in your boxes, just like clapping politely.
He's with us via Skype. Yeah, I don't know why I was nominated. This isn't a movie. This is probably kind of illegal. This camera, but can't find the button to turn off the Skype. So I'm like, fuck, where's the button?
Say clicking and scraping against the mic, but you can't find it.
Yeah, like my flatmates kind of yell like, Henry, what's all that sound? I'm like, nothing.
You're really embarrassed about your Oscar nomination.
And are you having a nomination for an Oscar in there? No. Only with sound design.
We don't want to repeat the Grammys again.
I'm suffering from double fission. Get it? Double fission?
So that should bring us to the end of this episode of 90s Spider-Man show. I hope you had a good time. Any last words, Jack?
I have a correction. to make.
You have a correction to make.
Well, I don't have a correction. I need to pass on a correction. One of the viewers of the show is Canadian.
No, what have we done?
And turns out Aunt May's Island, which we discussed in episode 4's Weird Law Bullshit Corner.
Yeah.
Aunt May inherits a Canadian island which is rich with uranium. It turns out there's a lot of uranium in Canada, so therefore that entire story makes complete sense.
We're sorry, viewer, for making it sound like that idea was ridiculous. We hope you forgive us.
There's also a lot of those islands around Canada are owned by poor American women in their 60s who marry rich, insane bachelors with several limbs.
Ah, right. Yeah, of course.
It's very common.
It's a very popular dating site, I've heard. 8rman.com.
Henry's face just like broke with laughter.
That's all you break first. I was
Like
that.
split apart. It was like scanners.
I was trying so hard. Yeah. Swipe right 8 different times because you have 8 different arms.
What, each arm has a different profile?
Yeah. Because, like, you can't fit like an entire man and all his arms to a profile. That's just, like, ridiculous. But yeah, please send all your retractions and comments and, I wouldn't say fan mail, but it's probably going to be complaints, to that 90s Spider-Man show. That's 90s SM show on Twitter. Or personally to myself at NotGetHenry and Jack at...
I was going to say Jalix G, but that doesn't make sense to say out loud. JAlexG_.
Awesome. And please follow us on SoundCloud, on iTunes, and on... what's the other one?
Stitcher.
Stitcher! It's all those 3. But yeah, that's the end of our show today. And yeah, as always, stay facing front, true believers. And remember, if you're on a date with someone and they reject you, just run away mid-sentence. It'll work. That's all, guys. Go back to your lives. Have a good one.